Hi. And welcome to LNA Does Audio Stuff. Sometimes the music industry can be a bit tough and a bit cruel. We might use hours and hours and hours on our art. And there's always going to be people who are not going to agree with you, who are not afraid to share their perspectives. This video is about how to deal with hate comments, how to deal with when people disagree with your art, especially online. So I am a professional musician and a music producer, and I have definitely needed to deal with a lot of hate comments with my time. I do YouTube. I've been doing it 3.5 years full time. So I have definitely had some experience of this, and I will share how I deal with all this. So let's get into it now. Tip number one we're going to talk about is, where is your focus? We often hear sentences like,
ignore the comments, just let them go.
And
focus on the positive. Come on, why do you listen to this person?
And as much as these have a great message behind these, they can be very hard to put in action. We all know that. So personally, when I started my YouTube channel, even before I started, I was so sure my channel of me teaching music production, it's not going to go well for everybody. Not everybody's going to agree with that. And not everybody did. It was very easy to focus on the fear in the beginning, on how my experience might be and what random people might be telling me on internet and how that would affect me and my personal confidence. This fear almost stopped me doing this in the beginning completely. The similar type of fear is when I'm publishing new music. That's the fear that I feel. I feel, what if I'm gonna get a lot of hate? And usually when we are afraid, we get a fight or flight reaction. What it is trying to do is that it's trying to keep us safe, and it's supernatural that we're gonna feel that feeling. But by doing this, it teaches us that by not doing things, we don't need to be afraid. So it's much easier to say, okay, I'm not gonna do a YouTube channel because I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate. So it's much easier to kind of protect yourself and just not do it, not publish the song, not put anything out there. That keeps us safe. But what it also does is that it prevents us from pushing ourselves forward, pushing ourselves to do things that we really want to do and to experience our full creative potential. When we day after day after day let the fear keep us in the safe area and we don't push ourselves out from the comfort zones, then we do not learn that there's actually other things there that we don't really know about yet because we haven't experienced them, because we never go there. You know what I mean? So there's other things out there than just the frightening scenarios that we make up in our head. As much as we can practice keeping our safe space and keeping in our comfort zone, we can also learn to see and believe to the good things. This takes a lot of practice, and also it needs a lot of proof. We need to prove our brain that there's other things than just the hate, and that actually the hate is a very minimal aspect of what's happening, and all the good things, there's a lot more of that. How do you get this proof? Is only by just doing it. Personally, as soon as I started to post on YouTube, even if it was super scary, I soon learned that there will be a lot more positive comments to the shit ones. And even, 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, when I was like that area, there was always a lot more positive. I would say 1 of 10 comments were shit. And nowadays, I feel like it's even less than that, Or I don't know if it's just, I'm just not noticing the shit ones anymore. Some of them I do really notice, but we will get back to it later. For me, the learning curve has been long. And after, 3.5 years of posting every single week, I feel like I finally can truly say that I can focus more on the positive. But this has needed a lot of practice. And by posting once a week for 3.5 years, that's starting to be enough proof for myself. Example, my Patreon community is there because they actually want to support me and they actually believe what I do is good. Through their support, I have also started to believe that the comments below my videos are actually genuine people wanting to support me. So after a while, when you see the negative comments, your world doesn't focus around that, but around all the amazing things that everybody else says. And this is how you will also overcome the fear of sharing what you have created. So tip number 2 is, who do you seek validation from? Validation, very important. What helps you to focus on the actual positive, like we were talking just a moment ago, is also understanding where you are looking for your validation from. And you understand also how it's impacting your fear and your confidence. So if you can find a balance on where you look for your validation, also hate comments become a lot more easier to handle. You look for approval from the right places, your community, the people who are fully there in your corner, and focusing on that gives you the assets to feel less shit like when you read the comments. So let's talk about how can other people reflect their fears on you and how can that impact. So example, even how much our friends and family might love us, they might also feel a lot of fear for you. So sometimes our family members can say things, what if you're gonna get hate comments? What if this is gonna make you feel bad? They might not mean it in a bad way, they're just trying to protect you, but also this can have an impact on your fear and how you can actually then deal with the hate when it comes. Really collect around you people that really stand in your corner, and every time you are excited about new art piece or new music song or your new idea that you want to do, I want to start a YouTube channel, I want to publish a podcast, I want to do that. Their first reaction is going to be like, that's awesome, go for it. I'll be here for you, whatever happens. Because there's literally no failure in creativity. So whatever you do, there should not be fear in it. You cannot fail. For me, my mother's opinion has always been something that I value so much because she's an artist, you know, she's also a musician. Obviously, I'm going to look for her validation from it. But in the recent years, I've gone really into electronic music, especially house and stuff. But when I was growing up, my mom always said when electronic music came on, like, oh, that music, like it hurts her head. And, you know, like she kind of said these kind of comments that she's not really a fan of it. And that's absolutely fine. But I also noticed when I started to make electronic music that those comments were in my head. What if I make this music, I send it to her and she's not going to like it, you know, because it's the music that she doesn't like. And I love my mom. And, you know, I appreciate what she does as well, but we just happen to have a different musical tastes, and that's okay. I guess like what older I got, the more I started to think that I just want to make music that I want to make. So I stopped actually sending her the tracks. I stopped looking for her initial validation, especially. So I only sent her the tracks that were already published and finished. And I'm like, it was out there already. And I'm like, hey mom, I made this. And the funny thing is that she loves my electronic tracks. At least that's what she tells me. And she's so supportive about them. So supportive. So even though she wouldn't go and put on Spotify like 2020 best house tracks playlist, you know, she's still on my side and she always has been. So this fear about her not liking my music was completely in my head. I should have trusted the fact that she loves me and she loves what I do. And my art is my art. I'm not my mother, and I should not make music or art that is like my mom's. You know, we're different people. I think that standing 100% behind your art and then look for the validation from the people, from places that you know you're going to get it, will 100% make you feel like you can focus on the good and the positive comments when they come in. And when you get the hate comments, it's so much easier to just push them away. You have so much more self-worth and self-love because you're doing stuff that you 100% know you love and you know that people are in your corner. Tip number 3, what do you do when you get hateful comment? I have my methods that I have created in the last 3.5 years. So first, you're going to ignore it. That's the first thing. If it is illegal, you need to report it straight away. Don't give it any time of the day. Just report it. Take the comments out of your sight as fast as possible. The more you see it, the more it's going to take your headspace. So just delete it straight away. Block it, remove it, get it gone. It will literally burn in your brain otherwise. Secondly, find a person close to you to talk about it if it really bothers you. But it's important this person is just listening, but does not put gas in the flames, basically, by reacting in a very big way. So sometimes we just need a person who's just gonna listen to that. You can actually focus on why is it affecting you so much. Sometimes we just literally need to let it out. For me, this is my husband. You know, if something really bothers me, I can just go like, you know what? That's still in my head and it really bothers me. And, you know, I'm going to dwell on it for a while. And as soon as I talk about it, it's much easier to not let it impact my whole week. And sometimes, you know, I'm tired, I'm hormonal, and the comments are going to just go very deep. So when a comment actually makes you feel a lot, think what about the comment makes you sad, angry, frustrated. Maybe you feel sad because someone is not liking your track. You put so much effort on. So maybe this is to do with the validation we talked about. So why do you need the validation for it? Ask yourself that. Maybe you feel angry because they're judging your production based on your gender. That's something I experience sometimes. So sometimes I feel like I need to prove myself because I'm a woman. You know, obviously I get a lot of sexist comments and stuff. So what about that makes me frustrated or angry? And, you know, it can be very justified. So think about the reasons why that makes you feel angry and frustrated. And the comments usually tell a lot more about the person writing them than you. What happens after a while is that instead of feeling anger towards them, you might feel sympathy. Someone saying that people only like my videos because I'm a woman, I feel more sad to them now that they feel that way than angry. Because, you know, sometimes it's hard to find the sympathy for other person, especially if they're really hateful. But it's also something that helps me to process things is if I give sympathy instead of consume myself with anger. So it's not really ever about you, it's about them. So remember that. So in the beginning, one bad comment could take easily almost a week of my life, just like thinking about it. It could actually be in my head for a long time. What really helps for me is I laugh about it. I'm gonna usually screenshot it, send it to a friend who also does YouTube or who also does music, so they get me. And then we laugh about it. We make a couple jokes, we send a couple of gifts about it and so on. And this is how I can then move on with my life. Dealt with it, that's it, emotionally done. I used to screenshot the comment and shared it on my Instagram feed or something. I noticed that that actually is worst thing because people get so angry seeing that someone would say something like that to me. Then they get frustrated and that is the fuel to the fire. So it kind of like makes me feel even worse because people are feeling so sorry for me. What I need is like that kind of positive, haha, what a loser type of moment. Obviously, for some people, maybe you want to be angry with somebody. So maybe that's the reaction you need to go over it. But, you know, it just depends what works for you. You need to figure it out. So answering, we know the feeling of your heart beating faster and adrenaline pumping into your veins. And this makes you think about it a lot longer than maybe you need to. So is it worth of having that whole moment where you are like typing your big keyboard and going like, oh, you know, I will show you. Is it actually worth your time? Should you value your time a little bit more higher? I personally never usually answer. If I do, it's again through humor because I think I'm very funny. Especially if the comment's just ridiculous or very childish. And I love using emojis. Example, adding a little violin, teeny tiny violin there. I find it funny. So I have actually done plenty of similar type of videos, also talking about music industry, but also talking about music production and creative confidence and all that. And there's a playlist here to all that stuff. Also, thank you for all my Patreons. I already talked about my Patreons in this video and how supportive and how amazing they are. So here they are, my amazing Patreon family. Come and join us. And hopefully you like this video. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the other content I put out. And have a very lovely creative week.